Welcome back to the Goku Runner Talks podcast. In this episode, we have Peter Hoffman. He was introduced to me on an Instagram DM in an interesting way. He has an app, the Relief app, and he's doing some marketing for it. Let's go check out what I'm talking about in this episode with Peter Hoffman. Enjoy. All right, guys, welcome back to the Goku Runner Talks podcast. And today I have Peter Hoffman of the Relief app on here. And how you doing, Peter?
I'm great, man. How about you?
I'm good. So Peter, he reached out to me on Instagram. He's kind of, doing some, what would you call it, kind of marketing, guerrilla
Scrappy
marketing,
marketing.
guerrilla
Well,
marketing,
yeah,
almost.
absolutely. Guerrilla marketing. Yeah, so there's I can tell the story of like how I came across this idea and everything. This was like 24 hours ago, by the way.
Okay.
Um, so there's a well-known app developer named Nikita Beer, and this was a tactic that he used to help product test his apps to iterate quickly.
Hmm.
And so what he would do is he would create this dummy Instagram account and link it to a school. He was targeting kids. Targeting kids sounds like a bad phrase
Yeah,
to utter,
100%.
um, but that was his target demographic. And so he would target a school like you know blank high school and make a Facebook page for that and say, stay
Mm.
tuned, blank high school's number one social app is going to be out. And so he would follow like all of these high schoolers. They would follow the account back. And then in 24 hours, once school let out, he would post the links to download the app on the page, and then he would turn the page public. So all the kids that were curious and followed that blank page back would all of a sudden see that their friend request was accepted. They would go see it and they would download the app immediately. So I had the idea last night to see what races were coming up
Mm.
because I created a corrective exercise fitness app that it basically puts on-demand pain relief in the palm of your hands, super flashy. And I saw that it started to resonate a lot more with runners.
Mhm.
And so I figured what races are coming up, what obstacle course races, what marathons, things like that. And I saw that the next major race was the Chevron Houston Marathon. And so I started to find people that were posting about it. Chevron had like hashtag Chevron Houston Marathon 2025, and then people that were tagging Chevron Houston Marathon, and that's where I found a lot of people that just seem to be normal people, avid runners, and that's the exact person that I want to like try out this app, and the person that I would like feedback for the app to actually make it better. Um, so I made a blank page that said like Houston Marathon's number one mobility and injury recovery app. Stay
Yeah.
tuned for the launch. And yeah, and I added you, and I did see you had a podcast on there. It looked like you had some pretty cool content. And then yeah, so I added like last night. I'm to set the frame. Like I took my kids to the gym's childcare because I get 2 hours worth of childcare up there, and so that's when I'm working on this app in the evening. And so I'm sitting in front of my laptop trying to figure this out, and I add up to 100 people, and I think like, okay, that'll be good. I'll give this a shot, and then tomorrow, which is now today, I'll go public. I'll try the links, and I'll send everyone a quick message. And then the first message you replied with was, "Seems a little sketch."
Yeah, 100%. It's just a guy. It's not even a guy. It's the app telling me to download their app, and I was like, "Huh, that sounds a little odd." And I did notice you followed the Three Bros Running Company. That's the company that I have here too. So you followed us there, and then you also followed uh, myself. And whenever somebody follows you, Houston Marathon number one stretching app, it does stand out. So I did click on it. So I mean, it's working. It's working. It's getting the clicks, and I like the hustle. And I started my own business, and we try to do different things to get our names out there. So I do appreciate. I do appreciate the hustle. So let's talk about the app. So what is this app that you're trying to market over here?
Sure. So it's called Relief app, and
Mhm.
it's a corrective exercise app. I call it a personal trainer in your pocket. Especially when it comes to runners, like you essentially know what you need to do when it comes to, hey, nice, nice. When it comes to your training protocol out on the track, out, like like pounding on mileage, doing your tempo runs, doing your long distance runs, doing your intervals
Mm,
and sprints and things like that. Um, but just like a high mileage car needs a little bit more car maintenance, so does a human body whenever you pack a ton of miles on it. And
yeah.
so this I was trying to position as kind of like your uh, companion when it comes to your training program. Like if you start to feel some type of ache or pain popping up, this would be the app that you pop open. You select what equipment that you have available, and then it takes you through a protocol. And with that, you can track your pain like before and after you go through the program, and it'll send you push notifications to remind you to go through the program again. Um, so all that's built in there, but it's basically an app to make sure that you can keep doing the thing that you like doing.
Okay. So it's for pain relief. So is it a stretching app? Is it just like
You
it's
could call
a
it a stretching and mobility app. Yeah.
Tribulation mobility. Okay. So basically you just pick out what you're doing. So right now I'm on the app right now if you guys can see, but it's asking me what's a good time when I should, what's a good time to do my relief program. So how are you where did you find these programs or these workouts or these stretches, and
Ah,
why are you qualified to do that?
so I'm a personal trainer. I've been a trainer and health coach for 13 years. Currently, I train at Equinox, if you know
Hmm.
that gym.
Fancy gym.
Yeah, it is a fancy gym. I'm one of the T-Rex trainers. I've been doing that for a very long time.
Uh-huh.
And so these are the programs that I've developed over years of working with people, and I've just
Mhm.
noticed similarities. Like if I string these couple movements together, then the person I'm working with usually is out of pain within the next couple weeks. Sometimes it's just a matter of minutes if it's just a weird joint tightness
Mhm.
versus some type of like tendon aggravation or tendonitis, something like that. But yeah, I created them myself.
Yeah, nice. So in the app, how long does a program last, or how long does it last usually?
Um, so this is why I'm doing product testing because I've been
Uh-huh.
doing my own product testing, and the programs are comprehensive as far as time goes. The last one that I went through, it took about 45 to 50 minutes, and in the app, when you look at a program, it says 25 minutes. So to everyone who uses the app, I apologize. I did not mean to misquote those times, but I am like essentially like reworking all of the programs in there to make them more time efficient and easier to navigate visually and like button clicks and stuff. So yeah, to anybody who wants to provide feedback, I'm all ears, and we iterate quickly. So I want to make it the best that I can for you.
Very cool. So you said you found runners are the ones looking at your app a lot, or the ones that need your program mostly.
I've noticed a higher adoption with runners versus people who are going to the gym, golfers, and other people like that.
Hmm.
And that's just from a couple ad campaigns as well as the demographics of people that are liking my content right now.
Hmm.
And I dug deeper into that, and it makes sense. Like this is something that it's more than just kind of a nice to have. Like a lot of people rely on their routine and rely on their running, and
Yeah.
to some people who run in the morning, especially, like it sets the tone for the day. It makes hard things later in the day seem easier because you push yourself early in the morning, and it makes sense for someone who wants to protect that routine to do what they can to make sure their body performs well so they can continue to do it.
Wow. So, so runners are one of your top demographics, and I feel like runners, like specifically, we're more like quad dominant. We're not working out our hamstrings, so I think that's where a lot of injuries come into play for runners, because we're just so quad dominant. So is there strength exercises and everything else for that, and like walk me through the app and how like one would start doing it, like just without
Sure.
pulling the app out, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. So let's say you're running Saturday afternoon, you're doing a long run, maybe Sunday morning, something like that, and you just start to notice like your knee, like the tendon right below your kneecap is aggravating for some reason.
Hmm.
And I know one common thing for runners like is to just kind of like warm up, run a little bit slower. Usually you can run yourself out of that type of like aggravation. Um, but sometimes that doesn't happen. So let's say you get done with your long run, you go home, knee's still kind of buggy. So you'd open the app, and there's a specific like knee relief program, or what that specific pain would be what's called jumper's knee or patellar
Mhm.
tendonitis, like the tendon that it connects your kneecap to your lower leg. So you could go through either of those programs, which are similar. I would recommend the jumper's knee. But so you go in here and it does three things. It relieves tightness through foam rolling. So if your quads are tight, like you said, quad dominance, it'll help release excess tension around the knee from your quads, from your calves, and even all the way up into your hips. And then you'll lengthen the tissue, number two. So lots of stretching, which we all know stretching is good for us. We should all probably stretch more, as far as how that works itself into the routine. Hopefully, Relief App can help. And then number three, like once we roll out the tight muscles, we lengthen the muscle tissue. Number three is to fire up the muscles that have not been working and kind of restabilize the joint. Because when we run, when we do this one movement pattern over and over and over, we get really good at it. But whenever we try and move throughout life, doing all the other movement patterns we need, picking up
100%.
kids and stuff like that, like our body may or may not be ready to do those movement patterns, and that's when we can aggravate joints and stuff. Um, so yeah, we roll it out, stretch it out, and then basically restabilize, reposition the joint so it functions better. And with that, when you get the joint in the right position, usually the injury can heal quicker and you can get back to what you were doing before versus running yourself further into an injury.
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, like whenever we're running and just running marathons all the time, I was doing that for a long time, and I just kept running and running and running. And then one day, somebody invited me to play basketball, so I was like, okay, let's go play basketball. I used to play basketball all the time for like 5 hours a day when I was younger. So I went out there and started doing like lateral movements and all these other movements that my body was not used to doing. When I just just run, and I pulled two calf muscles right away. I was in
No.
pain. I was like, man, that's definitely to get my muscles and joints used to doing other movements rather than just one thing that you're doing all the time. So it's definitely good
Yeah.
to do that. So your
Yeah.
app, it's is it just for like you're feeling a pain one day, you're like, let me fix this runner's knee thing, or is it for like maintenance? Is there maintenance kind of stuff for it too?
Yes. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly that. So, like you go to the app with a pain, you go through the program until it gets you out of pain, and then you have preventative programs on top of that that will allow you to basically stay out of pain. And you can use those preventative programs as kind of like a little light workout. You can do them as a pre-run warm up. You can do them as an after-run cool down. But yes, there is like a preventative aspect to make sure you stay out of pain and injury for the long term.
Okay, so one question I'm sure everybody wants to know is there a fee for the app? How much is this app going to cost you? What's the deal?
Yes, it is a subscription app. You get a 7 day free trial to start to see if you like it and if you need it. And if you get out of pain in those first 7 days, fantastic. You might not need to pay anything. um, but the subscription is either $10 a month, $9.99, or $40 a year.
Mhm.
But if you cancel out of that paywall, there's one final gift where it's a gift offering where it allows you to pay for a year or pay for the yearly membership at $25 a month. So to all your listeners and viewers, if you're looking for more like long-term relief and you're looking for a commitment, the 24.99 option is going to be the most cost effective for you.
So 24.99 a month, or is that what you said?
A year.
A year. Okay, so it was $40 a year, or the 24.99 a year. That was the deal. So that sounds like a
Yep.
pretty good deal. Yeah. So how many people are on your team? I think you just said it was you and a developer, or is it more?
Me and a developer right now. Yeah. It feels sometimes, especially when messaging, I use the royal we instead of just me because it seems more official. Yeah, it's me and a developer out in California. We've been working together for the past year. But before that, I was piecing this thing together, teaching myself code. Like I know
Oh
fitness,
wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I just took all spare hours of time from like I'm a full-time trainer. I have a wife and three kids.
Yeah.
And every spare bit of time I had, I would put towards either learning code or piecing this project together on a low code platform that I learned how to make apps on.
Yeah.
Um, and so I did that for about a year. Then I got it to a point where I needed outside help. And then my developer, who's a wizard,
Uh-huh.
has taken it to where it's at currently. There's still a lot of features to add in and a lot of ways to smooth it out. But but yeah, it's just he and I right now.
Wow. And when did you launch this? Or did you...
We've been progressively launching it. I mean, for the Houston Marathon, I launched it today. But
Yeah.
but I would say the official launch of this was probably last year. But
Okay.
it's been a launch and iterate cycle.
Okay, so cool. Yeah, I like the idea of the app, and it sounds like something that could benefit a lot of people for sure. But let's find out more about you. So you said you're a personal trainer. Do you have you done any runs, 5K, 10Ks, anything like that?
I've done a lot, yeah. My most recent race was a Savage run. I actually
Yeah, yeah,
have the
yeah, yeah. It's an
medal right
obstacle
here.
course race. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was because I got bought into it by a neighbor pressuring me into it, and it was a lot of fun. But I have run the Dallas Marathon twice, the full marathon.
Okay.
That was when I was probably 35 pounds lighter. Uh,
Wow. Yeah.
that's when I was really into running. Um, Best time I ever put up was 4:02, but still proud of that.
Yeah.
But being a trainer and also just being in the gym all the time, like I naturally gravitate towards lifting, and I have some strength goals. Um, but yeah, I've run tons of 5Ks, couple halves, couple fulls.
And then have you looked at High Rocks? Have you heard? I'm sure you heard of that.
I've run High Rocks one time. I was
Oh,
actually
have you?
sick as a dog when I ran High Rocks, and I trained like crazy for it. I was really hoping to put up a good time. Um, are your viewers familiar with like the setup of High Rocks?
Yeah, some of them are. I don't think I don't think they know the setup. Even me, I know it's a 1 kilometer after each event, right? So you can go
Yeah,
ahead and tell us more about it.
sure. Yeah. So you run a kilometer and then you do an exercise, and you do that 8 times. The exercise are like they're rowing, skiing, you're pushing a sled, you're pulling a sled with a rope, burpee broad jumps, which whoever created those is just evil.
That looks
Um,
horrible. Yeah.
yeah, sandbag lunges, you've got farmer's carries and medicine ball squat tosses. Um, and I like it's a cool concept because it's a fitness race, and so it's kind of like this weird hybrid thing. Um, I ran it back in 2021, I think,
Okay.
and
Before it was really super popular in the States, really, right?
yeah, yeah. And I had high hopes for it. I mean, I was like through my training runs and the gym, I was running on one of those curved treadmills and I had
Hmm.
most of the equipment. I didn't have a prowler sled, which I highly recommend if you're going to train for the high rocks to actually use a prowler sled instead of either a resisted treadmill or anything like that, because the breakaway force necessary to get it moving off of the carpet that they have it on at high rocks is very different than just a resistance on a treadmill.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, the times that I was putting up in all of my training runs were like an hour 20, an hour 18. And so I was thinking if I can get like an hour 18 in the actual race, I'm good. And I go into this and I don't know if I had like the flu or just a really bad cold or what, but like my normal pacing on the kilometers, I don't use kilometers per hour. I use just miles per hour. It was basically
Hmm.
I was pacing at like 8 minute miles, whatever, like seven and a half,
Yeah.
7.2 miles an hour, something like that. And am feeling great about it. But when I get in there, like I can't run faster than a 12-minute mile.
Oh,
And
wow.
like there are points where like I'm just gasping for air. My entire body feels heavy. And I signed up for the pro. I didn't sign up for the open. And so the sleds are like double the weight. The kettlebells
Oh,
were heavier for the farmer's carry. And like halfway through this race, I'm like, what am I doing? Like I should be in bed right now.
yeah, that's
um,
tough.
but I still finished. I think I finished like 132, but it was a grind. It was uncomfortable.
Where did you do that one in Houston or
That was
Dallas?
Dallas.
Dallas,
Yeah,
yeah. I think the Houston one's coming up in March, right? Over here. I think that
I
High
think
Rocks.
so.
I kind of want to do High Rocks. It's kind of interesting too for me to try to attempt that. I think that's a cool like running. It's a good mixture of running and lifting weights. Not really so much lifting weights. There is like it's a lot of body movement stuff too, right? So it's not really
Much
heavy weights unless you're doing the pro, of course, like you did.
Well, yeah, but even then, it's still like relatively speaking, it's all lighter weights geared towards like max intensity, like pushing your and like your aerobic threshold, basically.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah,
I
I'd
talked to this
recommend it, man.
one person. I talked to one person. They said the runners are actually the ideal athlete to do it because they have a better aerobic base than like a CrossFitter or a bodybuilder for sure. So
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah, exactly. A lot of the people that were lined up at the start line with me were probably this was I was racing then probably like I was 210, 215 pounds. The guys next to me were like 160, 170, and they were hauling ass. They were so fast.
wow.
Um, I beat them in the exercises, some of them, but they crushed me in the time.
Yeah, but yeah, you were sick though. You were sick as a dog. You're doing 12-minute miles. I'm sure everybody's flying at 7-minute miles over there, and there you are. Especially for the pro division.
They were hauling. Yeah, I was out of my league. It was fun though.
so
It was fun.
so what else besides those two? So fitness? Have you done CrossFit? Are you more the TRX? You said you're doing TRX over there in Lifetime Fitness. Is it Lifetime Fitness? It was the other one.
Equinox.
Equinox.
Yeah. Sorry. Tier X. It's like I'm one of like the high level trainers. It's Coach X now. It's actually rebranded. Um,
Okay.
but I like the style of CrossFit training. I may not go super far into like elite workouts,
Mm-hmm.
or what are the workouts called? Like hero workouts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I do often combine like, you know, very technical lifts under a time constraint with other like metabolic stuff. So like barbell hang clean to push press, followed by jumping rope, and then running on the treadmill. And I'll just roll through that like 10 times for a workout. Um, but that style of training is fun. It actually models closely to high rocks, which is great. But the type of workouts that I've been doing lately are very strength focused.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like strength work. I need to get back into the gym. Actually, I've been ignoring it. I've been paying for my membership, so I need to get back in there. And my girlfriend, she held my arm the other day. She's like, "Oh, it's nice and soft like a pillow." I was like, "You just put a
Oof.
tear down my eye just now."
Oh, that's mean.
I know. I was like, "That's the meanest thing you can say to me," because I was known for my arms back in the day, and I'm gonna get back there. I'm gonna get back there. After that comment.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
gonna get back in the gym.
You got it. What gym do you go to?
I just go to Crunch now. I used to go to World Gym. I used to have this membership with a Blue Cross Blue Shield where I can go to a bunch of gyms, but they limited me now to one gym, which is kind of an anger
Okay.
point for me. So
Crunch still seems like they have a good amount of equipment though. Like
yeah,
they
yeah. They have, I mean, there's definitely a lot of like it gets packed in there because I mean it's a cheap gym, right? So uh, like if you go there like 5 p.m. or something, you're not going to get a workout in. It's just
Oh
too
yeah.
busy. But they do have a lot of good equipment over there, so I'm happy with it. I just need to go. I just need to go. So
Yeah, man.
you doing all the personal training and the not TRX whatever you call it now, but uh how did you start that app thing, and why are you leading into developing this, and why is that your passion now?
Great question. Well, it started actually by I mean, I've always pursued these endeavors, these like entrepreneurial journeys.
Yeah, yeah.
And I before this, like if you see the um there's a long story. Do you want like long story or do you want like just the app?
Whatever time you have for it, because I know time's
Okay.
coming up on us.
So I mean, I've tried online fitness programs. Like I put together, yeah, spent like months putting together like fitness programs in PDF format. I tried online personal training. I don't think I gave that an honest enough shot to say whether or not it would be a success. Um,
Hmm.
I for a little bit I did like resale pallets of like Best Buy
Yeah,
computer.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I tried my hand at like buying these pallets for $2,000, which had product in there that you could sell up for like $5,000. And I built a couple computers that way, and I sold the computers. And so I've always had just kind of like this need to find another like call it like a profitable hobby.
Hmm.
Um, and then I was training one of my clients, and we were just chatting about like just business ventures in general. And he was like I came up with the idea of like maybe a fitness app, and like I can't remember what exercise we were doing, but he like stopped mid rep and he was like, you should do that. Like if there's a way for you to achieve some type of like market or like put your services in a like a easy digestible way for someone, it would
Yeah.
be an app. And so I started diving down that, and yeah, 2 years later, now we have Relief app. But the inspiration past that has always been like I'm always looking for like internal growth and internal progress, and I've in terms of like corporate personal training at Equinox, Equinox is fantastic. If you're trying to make a career as a personal trainer, go to Equinox because you can
Uh,
actually do it. Like I'm supporting a family of five, which sounds wild to say,
yeah, that's crazy.
being a trainer at Equinox. And but I've kind of hit the top of that growth, and now like for the past couple of years, it's been like, what's next? You know, like how do I keep growing? And I thought about going up in management at Equinox, and that was somewhat appealing. I liked the idea of growing other people and
Hmm.
like creating culture and community and like fostering this like really positive environment for people to excel. But it didn't make sense like financially. Like I needed to, support my. I think my kids are home.
Yeah.
I needed to support my family, and just the what they were offering wouldn't have been enough. And so, and I didn't like the confined um, position and responsibilities when it came to like getting creative and scrappy to some extent to make things work and to see success. So um, entrepreneurship. So the app 2 years later, um, and now we're in a place where we're building users and things like that.
Well, that's awesome, man. I wish you all the luck. I don't want to keep you too much because I know your kids are here, and then who knows what's gonna happen in 5 or 10
Exactly. Yeah,
minutes.
you're gonna see that door getting pounded down in a minute.
So I do appreciate you. And where can people find your app and find you at on Instagram or wherever they want to download it?
Sure. So the app is available for download on Google Play and the Apple App Store. Just search Relief App, all one word, RELIEFAPP. And you can find me primarily on Instagram right now,
Mhm.
FitHoff, fit_Hoff. Or if you're looking to follow the Relief App page, just look up Relief App Official, all one word.
Okay, and then again, how do people get that 24.99 deal? That sounded like the best deal.
Yeah. So when you go through the app, you'll go through the onboarding and you'll hit the home screen. You'll see a paywall, and the paywall will say, "Do you want the monthly subscription at $9.99 or the yearly at $39.99?" You're going to go up to the top of the screen and click the X button, and then there'll be a final pop up that says, "Wait, we have one final gift for you," and then it'll pop up saying, "We can offer you $24.99 for the yearly subscription," and that's what you want there.
All right, that sounds good, and I wish you the luck. I'm a business guy too, so like I said, I appreciated the guerrilla marketing that you did, and I wish you all the luck. And you should probably start a YouTube channel and a podcast and do all that to promote yourself. And yeah,
I'm trying, man, one thing at a time. Thank you for not reporting me in my scrappy guerrilla marketing.
no, I'm good. I appreciate the hustle. That's what it's all about. All right, Peter. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, and yeah, have a great day, man.
Thank you, man. You too.
All right, guys, that's it for this episode of the Goku Runner Talks podcast with Peter Hoffman. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This one I thought would be interesting just because he did contact me in an interesting way, so I got him on the podcast to talk all about what he does. And I love the guerrilla marketing, and I felt like this was a great episode. So if you guys did enjoy this episode, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, do all those things so that my podcast can be seen by many more people. Don't forget, a new episode of the Goku Runner Talks podcast is out every Monday on Spotify and on YouTube. See you guys in the next one. Have a great holiday season, everybody. Merry Christmas.